Welcome to another episode of Data Faded Warm Vintage. So the vintage train has just moved over here to downtown Houston, and catch everything at www.datafadedwarm.com. Let's get right into it. So we have Fabricio right here and his son Fabian. And why don't you tell everybody where you're from?
What's up, everybody? Fabricio with Roundhouse. Originally from Mexico, Monterrey, Mexico. That's where I was born and raised. But been here pretty much all my life. Raised in Florida, and then parents brought us over here to Houston. And I want to say like that's where I get my taste of stuff, like just moving around and stuff like that. A little bit from here, a little bit from there.
And what? Well, we're in Roundhouse Vintage right
Yes.
now, and you have a great selection of clothing to cater to a lot of different styles and type of vintage heads. And
Yes.
what got you into where we are right now?
To be truthful, is like I was thrifting already for me, just here and there finding stuff. But honestly, I've always told this story, and I tell it to the guy too, Paul Cantu. He's the one that actually, like, you know, I started seeing him on YouTube, and I was like, yo, that's dope, the stuff he's finding. I know that stuff, and he's really what like helped me look forward to like keep going and keep trying to find more stuff. Looking at his YouTube page and stuff, and it just rolled off from there, and it just happened, just finding stuff like for me, and then little by little just keep packing stuff in my house until my wife was mad at me, like, what are you doing with all this stuff, you know?
Right.
But then like eventually we started doing sales here and there, and she was like, then she started seeing like, hey, you know, he's doing something for a good reason, not just gonna be hoarding it or anything like that.
Okay. And on that note, with Paul Cantu and him being from Houston, I know he plays a huge effect out here.
Yes.
What time frame was that about when you were watching his shows and really was getting inspired from that?
I want to say that was like either late 2015 or early 2016.
Okay.
That's when I really like started kicking it heavy and seeing like his stuff and like that.
Right.
Yeah, but that 2016 is when we started our page, but we were already doing it before that.
Okay.
Yeah, so right around those years right there.
And your time here in Houston with the shop, how long have you had the shop?
The shop has only been open for about 8 to 9 months now. It's pretty new, pretty fresh. But I mean, I want to say we've been blessed with the location and the storefront. Like, I couldn't ask for a better location. Shout out to Tipping Point Store for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And the tipping point, when you walk in, you see like the tipping point coming in, and they working together, and we have this dope shop right here, also in the shop of the tipping point. So, but I want to get a little bit more personal with you on like the type of things that you do look for when you were inspired and you know, going out and catching some things at the thrift stores. Were you looking for anything in particular at that point?
Yes. So when I first started, I was like heavy into band tees. Like, that's all I really wanted to find. Like, just I grew up in, like, you know, Mexico. For some reason, Mexico is like big into rock, into heavy metal and stuff like that. And my uncles would listen to that, and seeing the shirts that they would wear and stuff, and like that brought back memories for me. So I'm like, I want to find band tees. Like, that was like the goal, to find band tees. But growing up in the 90s, I grew up in the 90s. I'm 35 years old, so I was able to experience the wave of like Tommy, Polo, the Nike, the Adidas. So like that just caught my eye, nostalgic, like just like, oh man, I remember this. Like, I wanted this when I was young. So like went from band tees to getting stuff that I couldn't have when I was young, that knowing that it was good, and then just expanded from there.
Nah.
Yeah.
And I know that that's like some stuff that you personally looked out for, and now that you have a shop and you are like catering to like more than just like people who like the same things that you look at, how have you adapted, or how do you go about finding those other things as well that's outside of maybe some stuff that you look for?
Yeah, so we try to like put our flavor into here. We take pride in saying that we're a curated vintage shop, because it is a small location that we have. It's not the biggest. So being small, like, we really want to be picky of what we have in here. So it actually gets filtered through me and the homie David, which is a part of Tipping Point, and my son, of course. But like we just like we want to be consistent with what we have in here, and we're honestly just stuff that we would wear or that we like. That's what we put in here, and it hits. You know, like we were lucky enough to have like, you know, a strong following and backing, you know, and in support of the city, and it's just like we really want to keep it curated in here.
Right. And on that note, speaking on being curated and selective, I selected this piece right here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
I caught this about a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Like earlier this year when I first came to the Roundhouse, and I really couldn't pass on this piece right here.
Yes,
so
sir.
I appreciate you for that.
Appreciate you, man.
And every time, the last times that I have come here, you have had Fabian here, your son, and are you guys doing this together?
Yeah. So he's like, as young as he is, I like to call him a vintage like OG, because he was out there when I started. Like, he was little, man, when we would go out there, and he was able to like get the knowledge, like knowing what to find. Like, he was my good luck charm. Sometimes like I wouldn't find anything, and he would come 2 polar bear shirts or something, you know. And he was finding some dope stuff. And so and blessed to have him in here, be a part of us. Big help, man. Like, he's been out there like hustling with me since day one. So
building the knowledge. How old are you right now, Fabian?
I'm 15 right now.
15? Yeah, that's building knowledge early, nice and young. You know what to pick out for, what kind of things do well into the shop, and that's really good. I like that.
Yeah, so, you know, Roundhouse, it started off with three of us. It was my homie Ronnie originally, but he later on didn't like keep going with it, but it was created from me and Ronnie, and of course my son. And now, like, you know, being a part of the Tipping Point, David is a real big part of the Tipping Point, so I consider him a part of Roundhouse also. Nice. Yes. Nice.
Okay, and Roundhouse will be in the building September 15th. We'll have our recap for that on all of our social media sites. And I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all for letting us come in here.
Thank you.
Getting a little more home feeling for Houston.
For sure.
Train is coming this way. So.
Yeah. Catch us at Data Faded in Warren in September, man, and come through to Roundhouse. We're located in downtown Houston, 214 Travis Street. Appreciate you.
The vintage train moving down to Houston. Everything will be on datafadedwarren.com. Big shout out to Fabricio. Big shout out to Fabian.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Roundhouse, downtown Houston, the vintage train station, www.datafadedwarren.com. Until next time, peace.
Peace out.
All right, we got to talk to Fabricio, where he let us know some of those pieces that he would normally go out for, some of the ones that mean a lot to him. We're gonna go a little bit more in depth into that and have him show us his most dated Warren pieces, and we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I want to say my favorite, like, 3 top pieces that we have in here is the ones we have sitting up on the walls right here. Just because, like, they're a big staple in me growing up in the 90s. Like, to me, the 3 most iconic brands were Nike, Polo, and Tommy. So, like, I just really wanted to showcase that here in the store. You know, that's that was the era that I was in. So up on the wall we have a 92 Polo Stadium jacket up there, and then we have the Jordan baseball jersey, which is a Nike, And then we also have like, the big Tommy flag jacket up there. So to me, growing up, those were the big brands that that I wanted to have, that everybody was rocking, that everybody wanted to have at that time.
Okay. And that on the polo one specifically, in what way does that one mean to you? Just other than maybe the year that it's on there.
Yeah, for sure. One of the year for sure, but that was just a big piece that at the time, like polo was big. A crazy story about that one is I bought that one off of somebody's bag. Some older guy just had it on, and I was like, I just offered him some money, and he was all with it. I was hyped because I was winning on that one, but he was more excited than I was because I was giving him money for it. But that's a really big piece up there. That's to me that's like the best piece we have in here for me for my my taste.
Okay. And you said this was a Nike.
Nike
Jordan.
Yeah, the Nike Jordans.
Okay.
Yeah, so we put that up on top of the 85 Jordans there with the baby 85, just to get with the Jordan theme in there. And then, Nike was just huge back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Tommy was
you never go wrong with the big
right. Growing up, I remember I had a kid that sat in front of me that had that jacket. And all I always saw was a big Tommy flag in front of me, so like one day I want to have that one, and now I have it hanging up in the wall,
Okay. And I do want to ask, how long have you had these pieces? Really early? Or?
No, this one it was actually this is my second stadium that I had. The first one I found it thrifting. That was like one of my greatest finds to date. So the polo one was one of my earlier finds, and that's really what I want to say put us on the map for the vintage game because. We got it for a hell of a steal, it was a crazy piece.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. And same around the same times or different times?
Yeah, no, different times. My brother hooked me up with this one. He had it in his collection, and he ended up selling it to me. And that one was thrifted.
Okay. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate you showing me your day-to-day
Thank you.
Those can all in the shop. You can see them right when you come in.
Unfortunately, they're not for sale, but you can see them.
Not for sale. No.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you again, man.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, we got to hear from the OG of Roundhouse, and we're going to hear from the young OG of Roundhouse and Fabian, and see what his dated, faded, worn favorite pieces are. So let us know what you like.
Right here, I got this Stone Cold tee. Just says Stone Cold on the front, and then on the back at the base, I really like the graphic on this one. And then next, I got vintage Nike.
It's color right there. Color blocking is nice.
Color blocking, the leather and everything.
Okay, that's real nice.
And then last, I got this one, Pink Floyd. Very worn, very thin, single stitch. Love how this one looks.
Nice, that's really nice, man. And what maybe about that one do you like specifically? Because do you listen to Pink Floyd, or you just like the colorway?
The colorway,
and
just all the character and how worn it is.
It does have a lot of character. That's a nice piece, man. That's dope, and that's from the young OG. And Fabian and Roundhouse here in downtown Houston. So appreciate you, man. That wraps up another episode of Dated Faded Worn Vintage. Much appreciation to the Tipping Point, Roundhouse, Fabian, and Fabricio. And until next time, the Vintage Train Station, datedfadedworn.com.
Peace, y'all.